Good evening, everyone. Most teenagers would rather do anything than give up their electronic devices. And for the most part, it's made their lives easier, certainly different than that of their parents. Tonight, we bring you the story of one young athlete who has just such a device and willingly gives it up to be better at his sport. The best athletes in any sport are usually the ones who love it the most. 17-year-old J.D. McMillan of Powhatan began playing football as a youth. But there was something about wrestling that grabbed his interest like a full Nelson and never let go.
I'm more of a one-on-one, it's all on me rather than it being a team thing, kind of. I mean, I just love wrestling just for the sole fact that you can't blame anybody else but yourself.
J.D. is a strong physical wrestler. What you see is what you get, and once you shake hands, he comes at you.
J.D. won a state title as an 8th grader and was the Conference 20 champion and regional runner-up last year. As sporting events go, wrestling meets are as full of excitement and energy as anything else. But where most wrestlers have this experience, use your hands! This is how J.D. wrestles. J.D. was born deaf and has worn cochlear implants since he was a toddler. It was his first meeting with a former wrestling coach that reverted his wrestling world from full volume to total silence.
My mom came in, told him, hey, my son is deaf, we have these cochlear implants. Mike asked him if you're insured, found out they were, put him in his pocket and told her she can come back and pick me up at like 4 o'clock.
He loved it from the first day. It was so him.
It may not make any sense to many of us to take an ability away from an athlete to make them better, but that's what has happened to J.D. His current coaches believe he wouldn't be as good as he is if he could actually hear during his matches.
It helps me focus because I don't have to worry about all that outside noise of parents screaming, the other refs screaming, the other coaches screaming, the referees, anything like that. I can just focus on my match and focus on what I need to do to win.
It's always a shock. It's, catches the refs by surprise. No matter how many refs we get on a consistent basis, you got to remind them, you got to touch him or he won't stop.
Mike taught me, when I wrestle, I'm not going to get anything from the refs. I'm not going to get anything from the other team. I'm not going to get anything but other than me doing my hard work.
Mike is Mike Walter, the founder of the Black Hawk Wrestling Gym in Powhatan and a former special agent with the Virginia State Police. Walter was killed in the line of duty in May of 2017. Like so many he trained and mentored in the past, J.D. now wrestles with the memory of Walter's influence every time he walks onto the mat.
He sat down when he didn't need to, and we learned our own signals and our own kind of sign language for me on the mat, and I could look at him, and he would teach me he would let me know what I need to do.
Looking at Mike, you really, you wouldn't know the amount that he's done for this community. For kids in general, giving kids a real chance to succeed against adversity, just showing that he cared.
And you can't replace him. I miss him. We all do. And with J.D. specifically, I think he misses, there's a hole for him that a young man shouldn't have to have. His dream was, on his last match of his last high school, was to have Mike coach him, and he can't have that.
Every time I look in the stands, I want to see him, but he's not there. So that's like, there are parts and moments while I'm wrestling where it's just like, dang, I wish he could be here to watch this. J.D. has a record of 26-6 this year. He is looking to win his 100th career match at this weekend's 4A Regionals. He also took home first place in his weight class at last weekend's Arrowhead Invitational out at Powhatan. If you'd like to nominate someone for our Beyond the Roster segment, just email us at beyondtheroster@wtvr.com. The news at 11 tonight is coming right back.